How are you, brother?
I'm super excited that I have you here, and for those of you guys watching, this is Mortgage Matters with Chris, and today we're going to talk more. I want to focus on your space because you're an expert. You've been working on this AI side of business for almost a year.
Yeah, it's been just about a year actually.
Right?
Tomorrow, I think, is going to be a year that we started the project. Yeah.
So I remember when you first called me, but first I want to introduce you. For those of you guys watching, this is one of my very first friends growing up since I was probably like 15.
Yeah, I was about 13, I think.
You're like
when I moved to
13.
Candid.
Yeah, so you were 13.
Yeah.
And I remember when you first moved here, Keith Carpenter, by the way,
Yep.
one of my friends from Thompson, Connecticut. We grew up in this little tiny town in northeast corner of Connecticut. And, even as much as we wanted to get out of that town when we were young, I have some of my best memories in that
100%.
town. You know what I mean? As
Growing
when you're
up,
young,
it's the age, right, where you just collect memories and brings you back. And when you think back on it, it's nostalgic.
That's it. I remember the first time, I think this is one of the first times that we met. I remember kids were telling me to this new kid just moved down the road. You live literally, I don't know, a handful of houses down the road from my house. And they're like, he plays basketball. And I'm like, I love basketball. That was like my thing. John, my brother, and myself, and
everybody.
I'd seen you somewhere like
all the boys.
I'm like, what's up? I'm Chris. You want to play basketball? Like, let's go. And then we're at some court, I think, at the back of the KFC.
Yeah, KFC. Yeah, that was one of my earliest memories because I had just moved there, and you came up to me on the bus, and you're like, "Hey, you want to play some basketball with us?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Yeah,
and then it was on for
I was always good
years.
For like when I see a new kid, I want to embrace it.
Yeah, no, you were. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. That's funny that you say that because it hasn't changed.
No,
right? You were the mayor back then. You're the mayor now.
Well, I see someone. I think it's
connector. You're a connector.
I like. I mean. You look like we had something in common.
Yeah.
We like the basketball, and we had a lot of good times. I mean, we lived together for some of these years. I mean, we've had a long journey. So for
the same industries together.
The same industry. I mean, I look back. So when we were high teens, early 20s, I think more of the high teens, but it was American Frozen Foods.
Yeah.
Right, we hustled. There was a group of us. For you, those of you guys watching, it was like a core group. I think like 4 or 5 of us. Right.
Yeah.
And
work in the call center.
We kind of did everything together, and then one of us broke out to selling home alarms, and we all migrated to home alarms. That was a short window, though. I think it was maybe like a 6-month
car
window.
Sales. I mean, we always went where each other went. Which was interesting.
We all opened up car lots.
Yeah,
we couldn't all work at the same car lot, so we all had all these little car lots everywhere, and. I was Worcester Auto World. You guys were over off
Dudley Auto,
and Fontaine was I think he was with me at Worcester Auto World.
Isn't that funny? We just kind of went with each other. I think it was comfortable. I think we all came from, the backgrounds that we came from where things might have been a little choppy, and we sort of just connected with each other.
Yeah,
and started moving through life together in a way. It was interesting.
Well, we all came from I mean, I hate saying it, but I mean, I'm an open book here, Keith, but I'm a dysfunctional home.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Broken home. I was out on my own at 14, bouncing
I moved
around.
out at 16,
and you moved out at 16. I remember we were both couch surfing, at young ages and trying to figure it out. And I think with that, made us more creative because. One of the things I always share, even with my kids, I mean, one of my favorite things to say is if I don't say it 10 times a day, I don't say it once. I at least 10. I probably even more than that, but I'll be conservative with the number. But I say I'll figure it out.
Yep.
Because we can figure out everything.
Because my kids would say to me growing up, right? They'd ask me things, and because of our tough upbringing, there's a piece of you that feels they might not have it tough enough, right? And I know it's kind of a strange thing, but it's like you don't want your child to have things too easy, because I feel like part of us going through the struggles built us into who we are today.
Correct.
Gave us that resilience to keep going in the face of tremendous adversity, right?
Yeah.
People would crumble, and I think we kept going just because we had it so hard, It built us, and I thank the Lord for it. Really, I do. Thank you for the tough times because it's my story.
Correct. It's your story. No one can take that from you, no matter what this. I know that we've talked over the years. We have similar, where people counted us out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. I mean, before we even got out of school, counted us out. Right?
I'm glad they did.
And that fueled me.
Yeah.
It always was my
100%
fuel, good, bad, or indifferent. It was just the driving force for me that I'm going to win.
Yep.
And I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you, I'm going to show all of you that I can win.
Yep.
And as we move fast forward, I think what the real big pivotal part of our careers is one of us went to a regular car dealership for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a short window. We were all like the top salespeople at this place. I mean, it was crazy how
at a young age
worked.
too, where we just sort of
20.
embraced
I think
selling.
I was 21.
Yeah.
You were probably
I was like
19.
19. Yeah.
And I remember somebody, I forget which one of us, but somebody came and bought a car and said, "You guys belong in the
Yep. Peter
mortgage."
Favada, if you're out there watching, Peter.
Peter, yeah.
Peter Favada.
You
Somebody
belong in
sold
the
him a
mortgage
Toyota
business.
4Runner.
That's it.
And he said, "What are you guys doing here?" He said, "Get out of here."
You guys don't belong
I said,
here.
"Where are we going?" I was ratted out at that point anyway. I think I only lasted 6 months.
Yeah, I think it was 6 months for all
I was
of
just
us.
like, I got to get out of here. It was like a godsend. He came down right on the back, and we went to Conseco. It was Conseco.
Oh, it was Green
Finance.
Tree first.
It was Green Tree. You're right.
Right? It was
Conseco
Green
bought it.
Tree. And I remember you guys went,
Green Tree Finance.
and I went in there. What was the guy's name? The
Chris Brink.
Chris Brink, that's
Yep.
right. So I went in, and at the time, I come from a we're the same roots, very poor family. No one ever taught me about credit cards.
No.
Everything I ever bought, like my cars were cash. Everything was cash in hand. If I didn't have the cash, I didn't even know I could get a credit card.
Right.
So I remember going in for that job interview, and he's like, "We got to pull your credit." Well, I had no credit
Right.
and nothing. And I'm thinking my credit's great.
Good, right. Right.
I don't have any.
Right.
And he didn't want to hire me. He didn't even want to bring me on. So he said to me, he's like, "Chris, he's like, I'll tell you what, because you and Fontaine were already there."
Yep.
And he's like, "Why don't you come in next Tuesday on your day off and maybe listen to the guys on the phone at night?" I'm like, "Okay. Well, sure thing. I'll be there at night." So Tuesday was my day off at the dealership at that point. And I remember I was there at 7 a.m. with my briefcase. And
You're showing him, I'm ready to go.
yeah, he was in the door. It probably was 8:30. I was waiting there for him. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" He's like, I thought you were gonna come in at night." I'm like, "Well, I had the whole day off. I figured I shadow for the day."
That's awesome.
he didn't know I was about to hit him. So we go in the door, and I remember I was in there with the interview. I remember there was empty cubicles. I'm like looking around, not
Trying to
making eye
find your
contact.
spot.
I'm like, "Where do you want me to sit? Where do you want me to sit?" And at the time, I was dating my girlfriend. I never took pictures like corporate type pictures
Right.
with her or whatever. But I remember the night before, I had put a picture of us in a frame. And I put it in my...
Oh, wow. Really? Claiming your cubicle? Just like, this is mine?
I put it in my briefcase.
I love
So when he
that.
said, "Sit here," I
love
said,
that.
I opened up the briefcase. I took the picture out, basically telling him,
Basically, I'm here now.
"I'm not leaving."
Wow. Wow.
I'm not leaving.
I wouldn't expect
so-
anything less.
Yeah, so that was kind of the journey.
That's how you got the job there, huh?
That's how I got
didn't
the
know that.
job. And
Wow.
I mean, we all had fun. We were, dialing for dollars every night. And I mean, what we're going to talk about is really about AI and like your kind of progression. But I want people to kind of know like the drive, the desire on like how it all you began, and you're going to share some of the story on your side of it. But as we progressed, we all opened up mortgage companies. I think
Right.
within 2 years,
Yep.
we were in the business.
And again, we didn't go in together, right? We had to all go separate because
we
it was
all-
a competition.
Too many chiefs.
Who's gonna? Yeah,
You can't have too many chiefs in the office. We all want to be chief
Yeah.
Unero, whatever.
Numero uno.
Uno.
Yep.
And so we all kind of did our own thing. And you had an office. Jason had an office. Dan had an office. I had my own office.
Yeah.
And we all were, I think we were in the top 5 in the area,
yeah.
all of us at the time.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
did well. We did well. I mean, Larry and I were rookie of the year for Sunset Mortgage that first year. I think
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like $100 million in volume. that
yeah.
year.
Novastar was number 1,
Yep.
I think, for 3 years in a row. They were cranking.
People always say, anybody could have made money back then. Which, I mean, it kind of was the heyday, but we were young, and even looking back on that, we did a lot of things, but we made a lot of mistakes too, right? Like
Correct.
just financially and not holding on to what we were making, and just there's so much to learn as you're getting older.
You don't
The key
know.
is just go try different stuff, right? Just get out there and experiment. And
Well, I see what you do even with your kids now. Like, I mean, you have all your boys working
yes,
for you, which
all
is
three work for
awesome.
me. It is amazing.
And
I love it.
I think that, I try not to go deep personal, but I mean, I'm proud to be your friend just because I see the dad that you
Same
are.
with you, brother.
I'm not going to get emotional on this, but I hate that part of it. But the older I get, I could cry at a tissue commercial.
Me too.
For whatever reason. But I see like the impact you have on your boys, having them work for you, and knowing where we came from. You know, how couch surfing, not having the parental love and guidance,
we just
or whatever.
lacked the guidance.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. Like, we were our guidance. Like, we were,
which was
as
bad.
friends, yes, which wasn't good.
We
right?
guided ourselves into some bad situations.
With the blind leading the blind type of a thing. But but that's all we had. So we had to go with that, you know, and it brings you closer together. I think in life you tend to congregate with people that have similar backgrounds and upbringings. And, you know, I look back on those years and, you know, even just watching you guys operate, like in business, right? Like, you know, watching you, the way you do what you do, the way you network, the way you, you know, you're great with other people and going into any kind of a room and you can, you know, you just basically, you know, besides the fact that you're like 6'3", you know, you basically just kind of, you know, you pull people in and I watched that. And then I watched Jay Fontaine, you know, during his best times, you know, how he was a hustler and how he worked so hard. And like, I didn't have that when I was younger. Like I was somewhat, I had it in me, but it wasn't like a natural thing. It had to be brought to the surface. And, you know, so all of you guys being around hold certain things out, you know, even Jay's ability, Cabana's ability to be able to go and create relationships with other people. Like, you guys have both always had that. His ability to delegate, right? Like, when I watched him delegate in that mortgage business back in the day, like a master delegator.
He never was there. And
never
somehow
was there. And he made just as much money, if not more than everybody, right?
All of us.
And it was like, so all those things, you know, we say the guidance wasn't good, but it was all we had. And so that guidance that we took made me and you who we are. You know?
We bounced, we watched each other grow, and we're like, yes, they're winning. We got to win. I'm winning. We're all winning. We just like cranked.
They say you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with, you know?
Yeah.
So we had each other and we grew up and and now here we are where, you know, we're I'm mid-40. I just turned 46 a couple days ago.
I'm not going to get, we're not going there.
I'll tell you how old I am.
All right. I just turned a week before you. Yeah. I turned 49.
Saying, like,
so
what's the difference in
you know? 3 years.
So big brother, you know, big brother to me. And you guys were all, Jay's the only one younger than me. You, Fontaine, and everybody was older than me. So it was like, you know, I was the younger brother. Me and Cabana were the younger brothers.
And we had older brothers. I even had, we had a couple older brothers. People. I mean, that were watching. I mean, I don't know if they were the best older brothers, but they were there.
They were there.
And, they were, you know, fast forward, I remember one of the things when we fast forward to like 2007 and 8, well, actually, even before that, I think I want to say 2006, you were always ahead of the curve on, one of your main things was, I mean, it rings in my ears all the time. And I see you that you've created this kind of a environment for you, not even just for you, but for your kids,
too,
is mailbox money.
Yeah.
You used to say that, and then you created a software back. I mean, I think it was timing, because if the timing was 3 years earlier, you would have made a killing on it. You had a really intuitive software that could originate a loan. E-originator, yeah. Right? It literally, you could go, an application could go in and it would just go to the next prompt. Yeah. Prompts, now that we're talking about prompts. It really was,
it was prompting it.
You were prompting it to the next step, because it would be so intuitive. It could say, okay, you did this, now you need to do this. Now you need to do this. And part of us were like, I'm going to kill you, Keith, if you try to eliminate our roles as mortgage bakers. And you're like,
no, just
sorry, guys. No, just kidding.
I'm trying to help you guys.
You're out. But I mean, you created a software and you did have a good go at it. You almost had a better go at the second time around when the market came back.
That was tough.
At that time, you started doing marketing.
That was 2008.
Yeah.
So we started selling. We built the product, which was lesson learned there. If you're going to build software, don't take 18 months to get something that's workable. Like, we literally didn't have anything workable for 18 months, but that was young and not knowing. But when we came out, we started launching, we started calling people, and people were like, I'm trying to stay in business. And Lehman Brothers went out of business. That was right when the time that Lehman went out.
That was the start.
It was like, oh goodness, what are we doing here?
The madness. And you know,
it was crazy.
But then you turned it over. You were helping us with a lot of the market. We had the cutting edge market. You were doing sales funnels.
Time. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had our what do we call it? Mortgage Dreams in Motion.
Yeah.
You and I.
Well, you had that space next door to your office.
Yeah, we had a little studio.
And what's interesting about that time was basically I was starting to fall in love with marketing and advertising, and I always kind of liked that anyway, but then you were starting to do some stuff with social media, and then we kind of like came together and said, hey, so we both were feeding off each other's energy. Just try stuff out like this, putting cameras up and, making an attempt at, whatever it was.
You were making some cool videos.
Yeah, we were doing
that was kind of
stuff.
before people were even doing that stuff.
They weren't really doing it.
We were doing like credit videos and this video and that video. And I think, not that I have a massive following, I don't, but I have a pretty good following for just not really trying. And I think a lot of it stemmed from those early years of building content and sharing content and sharing content.
Putting yourself out there.
And a lot of it, I contribute to the stuff that you were putting together for us. I remember we did some realtor events. You helped us get like 100 people in a room.
Yeah,
multiple times. We'd have hundreds. We're talking dead of summer in New England when people don't go indoors.
It's funny thinking back on those times though, because like I was so green, but I was excited, right? Sometimes excitement can just carry you.
That's it.
When you get locked into an idea about something and then you just ride it, and we did.
What do they say? There's a term for that. Like, I don't know. I know I'm going to get this. You're going to catch it, and you'll do it the right. Is it ignorance is bliss when you don't know?
Yeah,
or ignorance on fire.
Well, you hear a lot of people say, like, I watch a lot of podcasts, business podcasts.
Yeah.
And I love watching people's stories. I read biographies a lot, and you'll see people say, like, if I knew how difficult it was, I wouldn't have did it.
I wouldn't have did it.
Right. I wouldn't even have jumped in. So it's like being blind to how difficult is sometimes a blessing.
You just go
because you're not being held down or constrained by preconceived notions about how certain things should be done.
Right.
Which, not to get it off topic, but even when I got into the website business, like I approached that business from a whole different angle.
Yeah.
That was like not like traditional website design, and was able to build. So sometimes not really understanding what you're getting yourself into, and you can make something successful.
Right.
Because we talk ourselves out of things sometimes, right? How many people say, I'm going to do this, and then they sit down and they go, yeah, but what if this happens? And then what if that happens? And then I'm going to buy real estate. Yeah, but what are you going to do when a pipe breaks? Right? What are you going to do if I'm going to have my property management company?
I'm going to rent and let them do it. That's what the other people say.
We get in our own way so often, where sometimes I think just blind faith in yourself.
Blind faith, yeah.
But the faith comes from the struggle. Right? Because even in life, like you want to do something new, right? I'm gonna go to the gym, right? Okay. You go to the gym, you go today, you go tomorrow, all of a sudden you're building confidence, and your previous actions are pushing you into that next action, and it's like, so yeah, we've been in those situations where we just blindly go forward and make it work somehow. And I don't know how that happens, but
I think we were it was a perfect storm. I think fortunately, we all had each other as our friend group, and we all kind of had a similar background, and we all had, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are like this, but we had a drive. Each of us were probably high Ds.
Yep. High DIs. We've taken the disc analysis.
We've taken the discs.
We're all high DIs, and I love that disc now. We hire with that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, high DI sales, high ID is going to be a caller on the phone.
That's it.
The high CS is an administrator. If you guys are listening, this test is it's a cheat code.
It's a cheat code,
to know who you're hiring, because it's dead on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did it, man. We're making our way here. So.
We did it. So what I want you to kind of talk, so we got all the way up to when I went a different path. You went on to do your own path. And I know that you did a lot of studying with Bob Proctor.
Yes.
And I know that
Extensive.
Was a pivotal time for you, because I ended up doing it after you did it. And I had some massive success, breakthroughs, if you will.
Everybody that's tapped into that information, which isn't many people, because I think it's scary, right?
Correct.
You kind of get in there and you're like, oh no, I got to face all this stuff, and you kind of back out. But every one of you guys, all of us that have, Burak, another one.
Oh yeah.
I shared that with him, the Dropbox file. He went in there, I saw him, and then now he owns multiple car dealerships. At
Mitsubishi, he's got, I don't even know what else.
There's some magic in there, man.
So, and sometimes you need that push, but that's when you changed your whole business with the marketing, sales funnels, and all that, and then you turned it into your website business that kind of sprung. So why don't you kind of walk on those early days on? Because here you come from. You come from here. You go from nothing, right? You start here. We did all these different things, had successes, and then you again go to start over again. just walk us through that path. Because I know that
Yeah,
that
you
was
do
a
that.
challenging time.
It was very challenging. So back right around the time 2008, 2009, when all that went down, things went really hard because mortgage business was making money, and then the software was kind of a failure. I had raised investment money, and that's always tough on you because you're letting people down, you're letting yourself down. You know, you put all this time and energy into something, so that went by the wayside. But I had some experience with. I started diving into like website building, and like really the big thing for me was like I started looking at websites. I'm like, these people do not know how to get their message across. Like they're all brochure style. It's like this should be a salesperson, right? Somebody lands here and like you start selling them on why they should use you for whatever it is,
your solutions,
electrician, whatever. So when I started that business, I played around with a bunch of stuff, building on Dreamweaver for those of you that have played with that. But then I found a web builder. And I was broke. I mean, I was like, in fact, I was so broke that I went to open a bank account and I couldn't. And I'm like, I was devastated. I'm like, I need a bank account to get this business going because I saw the potential. And really what hit me was like, Bob Proctor's teachings made all this possible for real. But what hit me was like, I can build these websites and charge hosting and build residual income and build something good for my family. Like something that's like, I'm big on like work today, get paid for a while, right? Like not just work today, get paid today. I want to build something. And also the one thing I really loved and I didn't like about the mortgage business was doing a loan, building a friendship, and then saying bye-bye. I really like the idea of working with clients on an ongoing basis. So that kind of so I had this idea and I was like, I mean, I'm vibrating at this point. And, you know, Jason Cabana will tell you, like, I went to him, I said, dude, and I told him what I was going to do, and I was all excited. And it cost me $500 to buy into this website builder. So I had a client, you and I both know him, a friend of yours. And so I basically, he needed a website. So I charged him up front the amount of money I needed to get this website builder. He paid me. I went and got the website builder. Built his website on the website. Still the first one. And if you go back all the pages in my website builder, it's still the first one that I ever built in the beginning. He basically paid the fee to get me on there. And then I charged him like something like $27 a month, something really low. Like now our base plan's $99 a month.
You paid it forward.
Yeah, paid it forward, 27, brought a bunch in at 27, went to 30. So started building it, but couldn't get a bank account. So I had to work that whole thing out. You know, here we are back in those same chaotic times of like, how do I figure this out? Right. Figured it out, got the bank account. But then I said, well, I was very nervous about bouncing any kind of payments because in the web business, you need Woofu and you need form builders and you need software and CRMs. You need all these subscriptions.
Correct.
So I went down to Walgreens and I still have the cards in my backpack. I have 2 prepaid cards. One was for business and the other one was for paying people. I had like a way to pay them through this green dot card or something. So I went in and I would go into Walgreens and I would literally take cash and put the lady was like, what are you doing? She like, after a while, she's like my friend. I'd go in there. What are you doing? Like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm running a business, but I can't put the money in the bank because I can't afford a $35 bounce check fee right now. That's going to destroy me because I'm only charging $27 a month for the service.
Oh yeah.
There goes 2 months worth of service. So literally built it on a prepaid credit card. And to the point where I had enough residual coming in, which was a whole experience in of itself. Building residual is a weird thing because you're like, is this real right now? Like all this money is coming back in again this month? It's like very hard, especially I'm getting kind of emotional, but it's hard because where we come from, things just weren't that easy. We grow up thinking like we got to work hard and long, you know, but the reality is you can work smarter and you can build something that actually like adds a lot of value to other people. And then the value comes back to you. So that's where the Bob Proctor stuff was like, and even Zig Ziglar, right? Help enough other people get what they want. You can have everything you want, right? And so that was always really in my mind from the first time I heard that when I was like 18. So anyway, that, you know, it was no bank account, prepaid credit card, one client at a time, one client at a time, one client. And there's always things along the way. Like we were laughing. I was laughing with somebody the other day. There's a guy named Ray, who we're friends with, Ray Khan.
Yeah.
And Ray, he's a buddy of mine. He tried to, you know, help out. He was selling, but he didn't really ever make that many sales. I love you, Ray, but you know, better in person, really good salesman in person, just not great over the phone, which some people are. But he made one sale. And this is how like life works sometimes, right? He made one sale, a guy named Jeff from Worcester who does overhead restaurant hoods.
Okay.
And I saw this website. And I can share this now because it's so long ago that I don't have to worry about anybody taking my secret, you know. But I saw this website and at the bottom it said web.com. And I said, web.com. I said, how much are you paying for this thing? He said, $125 a month. I was like, that's insane. It was the worst website I've ever seen. It was terrible. So it's weird that sparked, right? And like that was Ray's contribution to my life, right?
Yeah.
And I've been trying to pay it forward to him for a long time, bringing him back information and helping inspire him. But that one sale, and then we went and we started finding all web.com sites, and we just called up and said, hey, would you like a better website, maybe for a couple bucks less? And everybody was like, yeah, we love it, you know? And so that one little piece right there sort of like propelled me. And then from there, it was like finding other sources of customers. And then now here we are now where, you know, we're selling, you know, $1,000, $1,500 a month advertising packages and helping people grow their business beyond just the website. Getting the advertising and all that stuff working correctly too. So
probably thousands of sites all over the country.
Yes.
You're
nationwide,
nationwide now, Canada.
I think we're top 200 website companies in the country, which isn't like anything crazy, but
that's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And the boys now, 21, 22, 23, they're all running the inside daily of the company. And so they just want to grow.
You get to be with
They're
your
like,
boys every day. That's the best.
And you know, you trust they care about the business.
Yeah.
They care about the customers.
Yeah.
And you can trust them, you know. So it's been good. But they want to grow now. They're like, we want to grow, you know. And then I'm over here working on a couple other things. So it's like, they're like, you know, get back over here.
Which is what I'm the most excited about. Because, I mean, you came to me probably, I want to say 6 months ago or so.
It was.
And you had finally come up with, I mean, AI, that's a big buzzword. I mean, I think for the last 6 months, that's all you've heard about.
Yeah.
AI. I think you'll know this number better than I do, but once ChatGPT launched, I forget how many
like
people.
100 million users.
100 million in like minutes
or
hours.
To 1 million. It was like, they broke all the records.
Every record as far as what does that tell? What does that tell me? What did that tell me? What did that tell you? What does that should tell everybody watching this? Is you got to get on this train.
You do,
or you are going to get run.
You're going to get left behind.
Over. Unfortunately, hopefully just left behind.
Yeah,
you don't want to get run over.
No,
hopefully you don't get run over.
Yeah,
but you could potentially get run over
by a runaway Tesla or something.
That's right. Run away.
I'm kidding. The AI took over.
That's it.
But no, it's huge.
So one of the things that when you came to me, you were in the process of, and it's already evolved so much more from even those first early conversations. But you had created. Well, actually, before I do that, let me back up and say how I was using ChatGPT.
Yes,
because that's probably the best way to describe what the solution is that you've created.
Yep.
I would go to ChatGPT, as many people that are watching this have and do, and I would punch something in. Say I need an email. I need an email to my clients. I'm not a good writer. My wife doesn't even allow me to hit send on an email till she proofreads it because of grammar.
Yeah.
So just think of that. All those people that aren't that solid in grammar,
100%.
You could just use AI for that. Just for that one thing alone would help you save a ton of time, stress, anxiety, whatever. So I would go into ChatGPT. I say, okay, I need an email from my past client. It spits something out to me. What it spits out to me is great, but it's not the way I would say it, right? I'm like, well, they're going to know that's not me that wrote this email. It just doesn't look right. So then I go back to ChatGPT and say, okay, I want you to write this like, you know, I'm a high school graduate, like no college degree.
Or even like seventh grade, like, you know, seventh grade level. Like, you know.
Sixth grade level, I think they say is they always use. I use that one all the time for things. And then, you know, I play with it a couple more times. And I don't need it to be 10 paragraphs long. Just make it one paragraph.
Short and concise.
Right. So I go through this trial and error process with it, which, again, still saves me tons of time. So if that's the least that you do, at least do that, because that email might have took me an hour before because I was in my head and it's just painful, and I just end up having someone else do it. So that being said, so I was using it for writing and stuff like that. And what you came to me is you were looking for investors, and you like we all do. You went to your close friends, and I was like, I'm all in, because right when I was always an early adapter with everything. When Facebook came out, I jumped right in and I was using it.
What was the one? Periscope? You were even on Periscope.
I was on Periscope doing videos when that one came out. Instagram. Because the way I look at it is, at the time, back in those days, I was spending $30,000 a month on radio ads. I was spending
AF
TV ads. I had my face on taxi cabs all
I
over
saw
Boston.
you in the grocery store and on a taxi cab.
Yeah.
I would laugh. I'd call. I remember I was like, dude, what are you doing on top of a taxi cab?
But I mean, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now I see like Facebook. I don't need to spend any money. I can create an audience and I can market to them
Organically.
and organic marketing. And then you got your Twitter, your this, your LinkedIn, all this stuff. And now, as you saw, even before we even knew that was coming out, with the AI tools that are emerging and coming out into the market, I said, this is a game changer, because yes, I'm using all these other sites to push content out, but it takes me forever to get the content out, right? And if I have someone else do my content, now I'm sharing, I have all these subscriptions and I'm sharing these great content that goes out, but everybody else is sharing the same crap, right?
Yep.
There's
the ones you're buying from the company.
Correct.
That gives you, what color curtains should you put on? Yeah.
That's it. And then you know what? They're like, oh, I seen Billy posted the same thing. So I'm like, AI, I can create content and I can multiply myself in my marketing efforts by, I don't even want to say 10 times, by 100 times.
Kind of unlimited depending on how you use it.
How you want to use it, right? And your writing tool, I mean, we were so impressed with it. Not only did I want to invest in the prompt ROI, I wanted to white label it and create a environment for what I know, real estate and realtors and mortgage bankers, because that's a lacking piece for our industry. And I can't imagine how many other industries out there feel the same way, whether it's automotive, insurance, financial planning. I mean, the list goes on.
Anybody using
on
ChatGPT, right, to try to achieve an outcome. Yeah.
Correct. And what do they say? The AI chat, they have an IQ of like 165 or something.
I know it passed the bar. So it's smart as an attorney when it comes to the law.
Right?
Yeah.
I've had it write contracts.
Oh yeah.
It's
we
insane.
do like so we have inside of our tool that our team uses of our version of Prompt ROI, we have legal pages. So privacy policy, terms of service, cookies policy. It says right on the bottom, disclaimer, this is written by AI. You might want to have an attorney go through it. But most clients don't want to pay an attorney. They're a small business, Correct. So AI gives them the ability to have simple privacy. And before, for us, that was a pain. We had to go online and use these free term builder and then find out that it's not free. You got to pay for the actual, So now that's one small example of we can just bang out privacy pages quick, and you need those to get approved for ads and all that kind of stuff.
And that's just a tiny piece. So why don't you, because this is your baby.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, we've already have a ton of users using our software that we created and white labeled with it. And it's and we use it every day. I mean, I'm finding that I'm dependent on it for everything. I mean, not only in the software do I have ChatGPT that I was already paying 20 something or $30 for.
Right.
I got the ChatGPT 4, the DALL-E, all of that stuff.
Vision.
So I got all that. But on top of it, I got these co-pilots. I downloaded a lot. I don't want to get, because it's going to go over people's head.
Yeah.
I want you to just say what you created, why you created it, and just share with people like what the power is of AI, and this is just one lane.
Yeah. So I started using ChatGPT. Well, first of all, if we go back a couple of years, I started using a tool called Jasper. So Jasper has had early access to the GPT-3 model way back before. I think they might have been a Y Combinator company, which is a software incubator type thing, which is really powerful. So anyway, I was using that, and it was good. It wrote some content and whatever. And then all of a sudden ChatGPT released, and I was using ChatGPT, but I noticed ChatGPT is really smart. So if you want to write, let's say you want to write a proposal for something, right? You can say, hey, what would be the best practices to write this proposal? Right. And then it starts to give you some information. So it starts to give you an idea of what would a good proposal look like?
Yeah.
Right. And then you start to see the guts of the good proposal. And then you start to figure out how you can prompt this AI to give you something really specific. Right. That typically is going to take you 30 minutes while you're messing around with the AI, going back and forth on chats and trying to figure it out. For me, my biggest problem was I would go in there and use it for 30 minutes and end up with so much stuff I didn't know. I was just what am I doing? I was overwhelmed.
Yeah, I don't need all this.
It's too much. And but then I was but I have specific jobs. And there's this theory of jobs to be done, right? There's when you're building stuff or tools, it's you're trying to achieve a job, right? Someone buys something, they just want the job done, right? They don't really care. So what happened was I started like realizing like I just want to do this one job. I need to write like a 7 email indoctrination sequence, right? And I need it to be based on these specific things, and I need it to have these emotions involved, and I need it to do this, and I need the first one to be about this and the second one to be about that, and so on and so forth. So I might spend a week literally building this thing out so that when I put in a few variables and I click a button, boom, on the other side comes an amazing output that I can use right away or tweak a little, at least a first draft.
So I want people that are listening to really understand what you just said. So I'm going to just kind of back it up. You spent a week building out the prompts of all these different things that, if I want this email to say this, I want the next one to say this, a series of emails. You built out this prompt pack.
Some of them take 5 hours. Some take a week. Yeah, because you keep running and messing with it.
The user now goes in and hits a few variables, and their definite output comes out on try one.
Based off exactly what they inputted.
Exactly. In their brand voice.
Well, there's three customizable pieces to the software. So there's target audience. So you can save as many target audiences as you want.
Yeah. Right? So if you're a mortgage guy, if you're a mortgage or real estate person, I'm talking about a millennial. Maybe it's a retiree.
Yes.
Maybe it's somebody who's doing a VA loan, a veteran. All those different people.
First-time home buyer.
Correct. A first-time home buyer. Yeah. So I can create a specific brand for them.
Yep, you can create an audience, so you can say this is the I'm going to write to my first-time homebuyer audience, so I choose them, right? And then the brand voice is your brand voice, so it's going to be whatever Novus Home Mortgage, boom, right? If that's and Novus has a certain way of talking, and
correct.
Maybe
I have a couple
maybe one mortgage
brand
company,
voices.
yeah, probably
because I speak different to certain different
depending
people,
on what
so I created multiple brand voices in this. So
exactly,
my output is going to be different to a doctor.
Yep.
Than it is going to be to you.
Yep, laid back, casual, professional. Correct. So you can kind of choose those. Plus, you have the third piece, which is custom instructions. Custom instructions are great because I can say, vary the length of the sentences, right? Make a couple grammatical errors here and there.
So it looks like it wasn't AI.
Make 1 or 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Just so there's certain ways to really massage that custom instructions to get the output that you're looking for. So there's 3 customized drop downs that you're using, and then there's the variables for the prompt, right? So for instance, what type of business is, or what type of buyer is this, right? First time home buyer or VA buyer, right? Where are they buying a property? Sarasota, Florida, right? Where is this? What is this? What is that? Boom. 4 or 5 variables, click the button. Now all of this prompt on the back end is taking all of that and it's doing exactly what I told it to do. But the beautiful part is nobody is ever going to see that prompt. Because the prompt is what we call prompt cloaked. It's cloaked behind a paywall, whether you pay monthly to use the prompts and get unlimited access or you pay every time you use it, your IP is protected. Okay, so for instance, let's take Genius MLO as an example, okay? Genius MLO is a white label of prompt ROI, but there's so many prompts in there that
over 300. We had to remove some of them because it's almost overkill.
It's almost overkill.
But depending on the audience, you could plug those back in.
Yeah, and the point is someone might say, oh, you're using prompt ROI. I'm just going to go use prompt ROI. But it's like, yeah, but you're just going to start with a blank canvas or all of our collections that are in there, which are not mortgage related, right? Exactly. They're all like basic content writing. So the beauty is you can go out and say, hey, I'm going to build this thing for mortgage people to get their and here's the beauty. You could have 5 prompts that you use every day and they help you do your work.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. It doesn't have to be hundreds of prompts,
Correct.
But at the end of the day, it's each individual instance of prompt ROI is a unique thing in and of itself.
Correct.
Example, let's say there's a CPA and he's using 12 prompts on ChatGPT and he's fumbling around. He goes into prompt ROI. He builds out these prompts. Let's say he doesn't want to resell it. He just wants to use it as a tool.
He wants to be a tool.
Goes in, he builds these out, makes the prompts, and then now when he wants to write the content, he just puts in the variable answers. So he doesn't have to think anymore. But then he says, hey, wait a minute. I have a team here. My team might want to use these too. So he goes to the team plan and starts adding his team members.
Correct.
Then he says, wait a minute. There might be some CPAs in this country that could benefit from my hard work, all these prompts I built that help me do all these awesome things. And now he goes to the reseller plan. And he takes what he built for himself and his team and he resells it to other CPAs across the world or country, and he charges them a monthly fee to use it. And so he takes his expertise over here, runs a more effective, efficient business with the tool, and then turns around and helps out the CPAs of the world for a small residual.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
so that's really that's the crux of the whole software. Is it's a place to go in, either use our pre-made collections as hundreds of pre-made prompts, or go in and just build your own prompts one by one and have your own little toolbox of prompts that don't require fumbling with ChatGPT, just simply entering specific variables
For a small fee.
and getting the output. Yeah, for a small fee.
So why recreate a wheel that if you can just plug and play?
And I love
and go?
ChatGPT, and I use it. Like, I use it for certain things, but for most of what I'm doing, what happens, I use it mostly to dissect the skeletal structure of a good prompt, right? Because like I'm using ChatGPT to write solid prompts, you know, and I'm making sure that I'm, you know, perfect example, you know, give me a step-by-step breakdown of the best practices for a world-class copywriter to write a sales message. Right. So it's going to start to break that down. Now I start taking that information and I start crafting something that I can just throw these variables in. When I say a variable, I mean like write a blog post about, right?
Yeah.
And write it in the tone.
This way, yeah.
Right. So it's like the prompt's there. You just plug in your little variables.
Curly brackets.
That's it. Curly brackets. Boom. Right. And then out the other side comes, and it's almost like, it reminds me of back in the mortgage days.
Yeah.
When we remember when we first started getting underwriting, automated underwriting, and we could go in and get approvals. Like, remember it used to take forever. We'd have to send them in. Then we're like, we can just get them here. But it was garbage in, garbage out. Right. They used to always tell us that garbage in, garbage out. I can get you approved, but I might not be able to close it, right?
Correct.
Because you said he made 140 grand,
but
he really made 90 grand,
yeah,
right? And you said he had 100 grand in the bank, he really had 40 grand. So same thing with this. There's two sides of it. There's garbage prompt.
Oh yeah, there's
And then
tons
there's
of them.
garbage entry, right? So if you have a garbage prompt with garbage entry, you're really in trouble. If you have a really good prompt and your entry is kind of like, you know, you're still going to get good output, right? Because the prompt is going to do the heavy lifting for you.
Correct.
A lot of people aren't wordsmiths.
Yeah.
Right. Like my clients in our website company, they, you know, I ask people for FAQs as an example over the years. They don't send them back. I got one back, I think, in 10 years, and it had their competitor's name in it. So they obviously took it off the
They stole it.
website, right? So they don't know how to wordsmith. So when a really well constructed prompt is created, they can go in there with kind of just, you know, simple answers and get an amazing output because the prompt's going to do.
And you have some of the best developers and all that, and that's the thing. I think
We're working with some of the big prompt engineers out there right now. We're talking with some of the guys that people would recognize that are out there with huge audiences.
Yeah.
Have them come in and start helping make collections as well.
Yep.
So,
and that's unbelievable. And I think
it's
I'd rather plug into that than have to try to recreate the whole wheel.
Yeah.
For me, because
for some people, I think that's the thing. It's like, you know, yeah, it just comes down to if you're going to be using ChatGPT on a regular basis or AI in general, you know, and it creates images and, you know.
Talk about that. Like we use the repurposer for everything. So I can have someone who has an awesome post.
Yeah.
And I take that, I take their image, right? And I say, and I have it repurposed in my brand voice. Mm-hmm. So it looks original.
That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I really like this hack. This is a good hack.
Yeah.
So there's a repurposer prompt that you guys are using, but what's really cool is like you could see we all bump into posts all day long that we love. That's a good post, right?
Like, I don't want to share it because I'm stealing it.
Yeah, I don't want to share it because he's my competitor, right? I mean, obviously, right? He did a good job, but I can repurpose it. I mean, it's just because what's happening is you're taking the angle or the hook or whatever that is, you know, and you're just repurposing it for yourself.
I take the image and I go put it through the repurposer on that, and then I get my own. Yeah. My own image and everything.
Yeah, it's not plagiarized. It's just, what's beautiful is like the thinking part of life, right? Like we still need to think, but the AI can do a lot of thinking for you, you know, and it can, like if I see this, here's one thing I want to say, because I think, and I want to address this with AI. I think some people are weirded out by AI, and I understand. And they feel like even some copywriters that I know that are high level, they're really like AI, like, you know, and I'm like, listen, when you wrote a letter back in 1950 with a typewriter, did you write the letter or did the typewriter write the letter?
Yeah.
You wrote the letter with the typewriter, but it was a tool, right? AI is just a tool. You're still writing the letter.
You're still
writing the letter. Yeah. So it's not like, you know, oh, AI, it's cheating or it's doing, it's like, no, it's a typewriter, it's a tool. And if you use the tool right, you can make sweeping changes throughout your business. Not only, you know, and again, we're not saying get rid of people either. This is the beautiful part. I haven't got rid of a single person. Not one person have I got rid of.
Now they could just do 10 times the output.
Yep. And you know what's funny is that I asked one of my designers, I said, hey, how's it going with all these prompts? And what I did, just to clear the record, I went into my business. I was telling you this. I haven't been in building a website in like 5 years. I went in and started building sites. I'm like, give me this site, grabbed it, started going in. And then I'm like, I need a prompt for this. I need a prompt for that. I need a prompt for this. FAQs, bullet generators, right? About us, how it works, why us, like all these sections that you'd find on a website. Built them all out, tested them all out, came back to the team. Hey, team, try these out, right? Got them to use them. And now they're telling me that the websites that we're building are 10 times better than the websites we were building before. So it's taking a little bit longer, which is fine because we're doing more for the customer.
You're getting more done.
Customer comes, I got a home page and a contact page. Oh, that's great. But what about the about page, the services page, the FAQ page, the reviews page? Like, where's all that stuff, right? Well, now we can create that and knock their socks off. They go, wow, this is amazing. You know, and it's like, it is amazing. But we couldn't do it before because for the amount that we charge, the manpower or the money, right? Like, we're all about Speed Mobi has always been about bring the best services to the small business, Main Street business. Yeah. And we can't, with the money that we charge for our services, we couldn't hire teams of writers. It was impossible. Yeah. Right? We had writers, but not like high level, there's only so much for a price. Now we can beef up our deliverables and our fulfillment to a higher level because of the ability to do it quicker and easier. Yep. And again, without those prompts, they wouldn't be able to do that. I'm not saying it because we own the prompt ROI. They just wouldn't be able to go fumble around in ChatGPT and get the quality output needed to actually put it on a website.
It would happen. It would get done, but it would just take 5 times longer.
And then it wouldn't happen, right? Because we wouldn't be able to afford to do it. You
can't scale it.
Yeah, done is better than perfect.
That's it.
That's my big saying for last year. Done is better than perfect. Like, you know, perfect example. Hey, I want to do an explainer video for my business, right? Everybody wants an explainer video. The first time you go to the company, like, where's your script? I don't have a script. Well, we have a prompt that writes a funny explainer video or a regular explainer video.
However you want to write it.
And this is one thing I really truly believe. These sites you see out there like Upwork, Fiverr, all the freelance sites are going to explode over the next 5 or 10 years because
they're going to use a tool.
All these people are able to go, I can get past the sticking point now. I can get the script and send it to the video guy, right? Now the video guy goes to work and sends you back a video for $100 or $200. Yeah. Before you couldn't because the script writer wanted 700 or 1,000 or 1,500 to write a script, right?
Or to your business. I mean, I remember I've built out a lot of websites for my mortgage company over the years, and the biggest pain about it is that I have to tell them what a mortgage is. I have to do the work. And they're making it, but they don't know nothing about mortgages because they're good marketers or they're good website builders. Now a good web developer, right, can use chat. I'm a web developer. I'm using a prompt ROI. Yeah. I don't need to say, what's a mortgage?
Right.
What are your different, I might say, what are your different programs that you offer? And you could build out every one.
That's all that matters. Literally, like, what do you offer?
That's it.
That's it. We like, what services do you offer? And now from there, we can run and go do everything. It's crazy. It's crazy. So it's like less effort from the customer, you know, because everyone's like, oh, website, oh, that was a nightmare when I did that. You know, and it's like, number one, it's never been a nightmare with us, but it's even smoother now. It's funny you brought that up too about the website. So when we were with Sunset Mortgage over in Grafton, that was the first website I ever contracted anybody to build, the Sunset Mortgage one. The guy wanted $2,500 up front and $2,500 when it was done. Right? I'm like, okay. One loan right back then, pretty much. But he goes, all right, send me all your stuff. And then walks out the door. And I called him. I said, hey.
No, you're supposed to do that.
Donovan. I still remember his name. Donovan, what am I sending you? I'm like, I'm not the web guy.
Yeah.
And that's funny because when I started my web company, I went back to that moment. And I was like, there's a problem in the web industry. You're asking me for stuff from my website. You're the website builder. Right? And so
that's why I'm coming to you to fix the problem. Or I have to make my own website.
It's funny you brought that up because that really is what pushed me down that path. And I thought about that. There's a huge disconnect here. Why are you asking me for all the stuff from my website? You're the website guy. Yeah. So it's just
I thought I was coming to you and you were going to solve my website problem.
I thought you were going to ask me some questions and lay my site out and be like, it should look like this. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and you had
it's like I got to build it too.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because they're not a mortgage person, but
right.
I don't want to do that. That's why I'm hiring you.
It makes sense that for $5,000 you do a little research.
Yeah,
right? Like there was Google back then.
Yeah,
So, anyway.
Well, I think now this changes everything with how everybody's going to do their business.
Yep, everything.
And I think there's going to be a lot of people that don't embrace it. They're going to be, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm not going to buy into this. AI is going to take over our jobs. No. It's a tool, to your point, it's a tool that's going to enhance what you can do.
Yep.
And you can get 10 times the output out. Whatever it is. I mean, there's so many different verticals with what AI is doing.
It is. And that's what I love about prompt ROI. And from your investment your standpoint as an investor, it's basically a blank slate. For me, the most exciting thing is like you could have 100 different industries all using AI and trying to create prompts and using ChatGPT that come into prompt ROI and literally build out. Like we would look at their prompts and have no idea what they are, how they work, and I love that.
Yeah.
But they know. And the people using them know. Whether they're trying to find errors in code or they're trying to write good copy or they're trying to analyze data to find issues or things that are off. It's just
share with them. There's over 300 prompt packs. I mean, one of the things I know for like a lot of the business coaches that I know, I mean, they could do you got course creators.
Yep, there's a course creator.
Why don't you talk about like maybe the top 5 that you see that you have created that would encompass most business owners that they could use?
I would say number 1, the website one. Because the website one, we're using it in our real. If I wasn't so busy, I'd be out trying to sell a white label version of our AI Works, the one that we use for our team.
Yeah.
Right. But maybe at some point. But that website one has, if you have a website or you build websites or you ever need to add any content, it's just amazing. It's got everything in there that you can, without having to think, just go plug in your variables and get the output,
Right.
I think that one's amazing. I think the product launch one is amazing. If anybody's familiar with like the product launch formula that's been popularized where they release a video and then release another video, release another one, and then launch the cart and then shut the cart down after 2 weeks or whatever. Product style launches are big. There's a whole collection of prompts for that literally walk you through that. There's there's like 4 blog writing prompts that kind of go together to help you build a 3,500, 4,000 word blog post. There's the course creator one, which is amazing. I mean, there's most of the ones that are in the collections are all going to be things that are like marketing related to help because most business owners are going to need some marketing help. But yeah, I would say go in there and try it out. It's a free trial. If you go to prompt ROI, or app.promptroi.io. Just go there and try it out. It's a free trial. You can create your own prompts. You can run the collections and kind of see. But I think the collections are exciting. But what's most exciting for me is watching other people take what they're working on in AI and literally build themselves this little toolbox they can go to work with every day. Like and then saying like, wow, that's crazy. I would have never thought of that. Like even me, I'm limited in how I can use AI. I only think about this. I write copy and I write websites and I write emails and landing pages, but that's what I use it for. Like, I don't know how to use it for other stuff because that's not what I do, right? Whereas CPA is like, oh, you use it for that. I wouldn't even know how to use it for that. I use it for this. So as we grow this community and people are bringing their prompts in, even you with mortgage prompts, at some point we're talking about being able to offer, have a program where you can create your collections and sell them, right? So you could even potentially be able to provide these to other people out there that need access to this stuff. So it's an ecosphere that's growing, but it's really just, don't waste time with ChatGPT. Use it here and there, but if you're going to be writing stuff on a regular basis, just build this little tool in here, and it will help you do it a lot faster and more reliably.
Well, I think one of the things that we built out in ours is one of the challenges that we always have in the mortgage industry is guidelines. Whether they're Fannie Mae guidelines, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, all these different guidelines, and sometimes you know that you're right on something, but you don't want to thumb through 1,800 pages to try to prove yourself.
The old FHA PDF.
And you can't even find that. You can't find that anywhere online.
Right.
You could Google.
Google's going to show you ads.
They're going to show you ads. They're going to show you other bank sites, and we've all done it.
Yeah.
But what we built, even just for simple, depending on whatever your business is, right? You could have a lot of compliance in your type of business, and you need your guidebooks or whatnot.
Or knowledge base, right? Like everything about your company, who owns it, when it started, right?
And you could have all of that at the click of your fingers. So I could say, okay, what are the septic requirements in the Northeast? Because there's
so what you're referring to is something we call co-pilots, which we kind of came up with that name, and then Microsoft like named their thing Copilot, which kind of stinks. But regardless, it's a Copilot. It's what it is you can upload a PDF, and remember Julie uploaded an 1,800 page PDF of FHA guidelines, and then you can go in and ask it, what's the guidelines? What do I need? What's this? What's that? And that you're essentially chatting with that PDF inside there. And addition to that, you can have custom instructions that go along with that.
That's
so
it.
You're basically telling the AI how to use this PDF, what to say, how to respond.
How to say it, because they give it to it. They give the answers in simple form.
Yep. You can tell it, like, give short, concise answers. Don't be overly verbose, right? There's all these little things you can use to
which
get
is
the
awesome.
AI to behave.
So I mean, we use that tool all the time in our side, but that saves us tons of time. Tons of research time. Our son's at Florida State, my son Chris, and I said, well, let's create some study guides for him.
Right.
He's in pre-med. He wants to be an orthopedic surgeon. So go Chris.
Yep. He'll do it too.
Yeah, he will. He will do it. And we put in a bunch of his chapters in, and we created study guides, practice tests, all kinds of cool stuff.
Unbelievable.
Through our software.
Yep.
So I see the potential. I don't just see this as mortgage and real estate. That's the tool I'm using.
I know.
I see an opportunity. You got kids that are paying hundreds of dollars for a tutor.
Yep.
Well,
I know.
Come use my tutor AI tool.
Right? No, see that perfect example. I know. Like, it gets me so excited because it's like you just said, study guides, right? Well, what do you need? Like, if there's a prompt and I need a study guide, what subject do you need a study guide for? Math.
Yeah.
How many questions do you want? 20. How many and then in the prompt on the back end is like massaging this thing to turn into exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Output you want, how you want it to look.
We played with it with the study guide too, and he's doing like chemistry, some hardcore chemistry stuff. And we're like, break us down a study guide as if he was in 4th grade.
Yep.
It's like, hey, 2 cookies,
wow,
10 apples. I mean, it literally took some of the examples in the book and dumbed it down to like if you were trying to teach a
what's funny?
3rd grader this
You
stuff.
brought up, so we were talking about storytelling and how important storytelling is really in everything. But I did the same exact thing as far as shortening it. I said, tell me stories in the least amount of words you possibly can, following best practices. Because I'm trying to understand story, right? And to understand story, I need to know, like, I want to see the shortest possible story I can see. What is it, right? And it did it, and it came back with these like real short little stories, like plot, like whatever they, the confrontation and then the solution. Right? It was hilarious, but things like that where you're able to take it and just bring it down to this level to start, right? Like, hey, I'm learning story. Write the shortest possible story, just so I can understand how a story really works.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And then grow it from there.
And maybe a prompt on how to tell good stories if you're a speaker, and how to engage with
some stuff. Yeah, storytelling prompts that help you. Even like the landing page prompt, just as an example. How many people want to have a really good sales landing page that totally explains, like, if someone said, how do you make my life better, Chris, with your widget thingy?
Yeah.
Right? And they had a sales page we have a prompt that took a while to construct that literally writes the perfect sales message. It numbers the output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's a landing page we built that has numbers on it that already has the whole landing page ready to go. You just plug the copy in, put some pictures in.
You hit the variables in.
It's literally like, paint by numbers? So it writes a whole sales message, and then you paste it into the landing page and go live and test it out, right? Like, the biggest problem most businesses have is that they don't do any experiments. They don't test anything, right? They don't actually get an ad going, right? So because they don't have a landing page and they don't have this and they don't
know where to start.
Right. So if you can get a landing page up using AI, run an ad and see how it does. And then write a different one, run an ad, see how,
it does.
So again, done is better than perfect. We can use AI to just iterate things quickly and try it.
Yeah, so
fail. If it doesn't work, fail quick,
So we're coming to the end of our hour here. So I want to just kind of wrap up everything. I mean, again, it's
been fun. I'm glad I had a chance to come sit down.
Driving from Mass just to come on our podcast. We really appreciate it. I'm just kidding.
No, that's partly why. I did. I came down here to see you and come on this podcast.
Yeah, we love it.
I'm sure other people would drive down and come on.
We were blessed to have you and Jason down at the same time. It's the one reason I like to go back up north is see you guys.
I'll
and
be down more
see
often.
family, and your door's open.
That back room's always open.
That's it. It's all. We'll keep the slider open for you.
Appreciate it. Thank
so
you.
just come in and go when you want. That's what Jason says to me. So
Yep.
my friend up in the Northeast,
Come on.
when I go up, he's like, "Why are you calling me? You know how to get in the house."
Yep.
I'm like, I'm just letting you know.
Yep.
He's like, "You got your way in." I want to wrap this up in a sense that how can people reach you, get to know more about the tool that you have? I mean, this tool, it's universal for any business can tie into this tool, and it's
especially AI consulting. I think like one thing we didn't talk about too much is like that's a new emerging market is AI
Correct.
consulting. So if somebody's watching this right now and they're looking for a new start, they like consulting and they like AI, the tool will allow them to go out and land large retainers and provide the infrastructure for their clients to actually utilize the AI, right? So think
Right.
about everything we talked about.
Yeah.
Is basically they're gonna let's say you need AI. You have a business, 100 employees, and you're not sure how to implement it. Because most people are in that position right now with ChatGPT. They're confused. They're like, I'm reading blogs and seeing studies, and people are like just really struggling to implement this. But point being, an AI consultant could come in and say, hey, I'm going to sit down with your team for the next month. I'm going to find out everything you guys need on a daily basis, and my team's going to go back and build these for you. And then we're going to deploy them in a software that you can use every day to make this all easy. That's what we're talking about. So you want to charge 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, it doesn't matter. Whatever you can charge, it's your own business. And consulting is a really great business, but without software, it's hard because it's hard. You know, people are like, why am I paying this guy again? Right.
Yeah.
And when they
What
have the
does he have?
software, they're like, I'm paying him because he's good, but also because I got the software and I'm using it.
And you can quantify what the tool, he could quantify, your consultant can quantify what that tool can do for output that then translates into
100%
the income.
And those clients are coming to you because they want to implement AI. They see the potential for it, right? But they're just confused. They don't know where to start. And the other thing is, if you go and contract IBM or some of these other large companies, you're getting into hundreds of thousands of dollars to put together a program for a small business. They're not going to do that.
Correct.
Prompt ROI comes in and says, hey, you can have your own software program for low money, charge per user, make however much you want. It's your own model, you know, without having to go into that like more enterprise solution. So it could fit enterprise in a lot of ways in small little departments probably, and could grow into a true enterprise software. But at the moment, it's like anybody below 10, 20 million a year, you know, even companies doing $1 million, $2 million, $3 million can use the software. So to find me, I would say the best way to get a hold of me is send me a message, Keith@speedmobi.com, speedmobi.com. That's my main email address. You can reach out there. PromptROI.com. There's a video on there that kind of shows you the basics of how it works. And then you can click the button and get a free trial. It's a 14-day free trial.
Awesome.
If right now we're in the stage with the software where you're going to get extra help. So if anybody's watching this and they're like, I really want to do this and I'd love to work with Keith one-on-one, you got me. Because right now I'm in that position where I need to work with you one-on-one. You know, and I'm being completely transparent.
Yeah.
When you're building a software program, you're in the trenches. You're not doing the scalable things, right? You're on the phone, you're meeting with people, and that's what I'm doing. So helping people, even with you, with Genius MLO, you know, getting in there, and I want to work even harder and more, and you know what I mean? Get in there and really just to get you the best results we can.
That's
you know?
it.
So people will be able to benefit from getting a more hands-on approach right now while we're still a young company.
Yeah, that's great.
And then we'll build out the programs that help them get the results without as much hands-on, you know.
And if you're a realtor watching this or mortgage banker and you're kind of flopping around with AI and stuff and you really want an awesome tool for your social media posts or campaigns, email campaigns, scripts for your videos.
I mean, what
all
about
the
an underwriting cover letter? Like, I love that.
do.
One, right? Like, I used to always write like a really persuasive underwriting cover letter,
or a listing letter,
Yeah,
like for your listing letter. Like, you know, these things.
You know, and what about this? You know, if you're a mortgage guy and you have a section of prompts that benefit real estate agents, how nice is that? That you could, hey, you need a sales page. Hey, you need a 7 email indoctrination sheet. Like they don't have these resources. So
that's
you
right.
can leverage the tool to provide.
That's
some
what
value.
we do. We want to leverage it with our realtor partners. Like, listen, I'll get you. Let me get that for you. Let me give you build out a campaign for you.
No one does that.
Nobody does it.
They don't. But if you can do it, and again, that comes down to why don't they do it? The same reason why we didn't sit there and build out 7 extra pages with a customer that's paying $99 a month and just wants a basic website. Now we can actually over deliver because we can do it faster, and you guys are in the same position.
And you get more.
Yeah.
So Keith, thanks for coming.
Thanks for
down.
having me,
Thanks
brother.
for being on the
I
show.
really
I'm
appreciate it.
excited to see where Prompt ROI,
I'll come back.
MLO goes.
We'll do another one.
And yeah, come down where the golf is year round, bro.
I love
I'm
it.
trying to tell
I'll
you
be down
that.
here this
trying
winter
to tell
for
you
sure.
that.
I'll be down.
And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time on Mortgage Matters with Chris. And every week we're going to be talking about mortgage, real estate stuff, but we're going to be bringing it both with the AI stuff because I know that this is a big topic right now. And as we're becoming experts in this field, we want to make sure that we're your resource to help you with all those AI needs or tips that you can use. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, buddy.
Love you, brother.
Nice to be here.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks.
bro.